In summary, a first-class business plan is one that contains zero fluff, and we're going to define fluff, but you have a pretty good idea as to what it is. Specific, meaning quantitative whenever possible. I'll give you some examples of that. Super detailed, particularly for the very near term. So everybody understands that as we're projecting out into the future, 5 years out into the future, uncertainty is huge. But the first 3 months of what you're going to be doing, I need to understand in tremendous detail. Every single detail about the first month. What are you going to do first month? Second month. I understand in the 5th year, who knows, right? So, but you still have to have some projections. The business plan presents evidence of capital efficiency. So we will talk about what capital efficiency means. So I'm a big believer in capital efficiency. My colleagues are big believers in capital efficiency. And we're kind of inserting our belief. As I mentioned, this is not physics. This is a faith-based course in essence, because it's not governed by natural laws like physics is. So we're injecting our belief system of capital efficiency into the McGuire program, and I'm willing to admit that. There are other models. We believe in the capital efficient model because it's the best model in our opinion for McGuire, for the University of Arizona, for Tucson, for Arizona. It's not the best model for Silicon Valley and Stanford University. It's the best model for here. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And I said the first class business plan is poetry. Poetry in the sense that every single word means something. Every single word is selected carefully by the author to convey some specific meaning to the reader. Okay? So we'll be going through all this during the entire year. So this is a very condensed version of what you'll be hearing from us, every day. So, zero fluff. If I read in a business plan something that is obvious, I feel insulted. If I read anything in a business plan that conveys either no meaningful information or something that everybody else will say. So when you're reading a business plan, you say to yourself, could everybody else say this? Would everybody else say this also? For example, to market our service, we will use Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Really? What genius. Incredible. How did you think of this? All by yourself? So this type of stuff does not belong in a business plan that fits the criterion of a first-class business plan. It certainly doesn't fit in a grant application because the reviewers are far smarter than letting this kind of stuff go by. So how do we fix this? We will say we will use Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, but we're going to put some specifics, quantitative numbers on it. For instance, the value of a Facebook like in our industry, in our niche, is X dollars or X cents, based on benchmark companies, including da-da-da, 3 examples. What are you saying there? I know what I'm talking about, reader. I'm not just, throwing out some stuff, fluff stuff at you to read. Specific, meaning quantitative, whenever possible. It's a huge market. This is a total turnoff for us. It's just meaningless. It's a huge market. Okay, excellent, good. It's a huge market. But this is much more meaningful, right? And without any doubt it is. The total available market is $500 million. We're going to define what a total available market is to you. Our first year served available market is $5 million, of which we will gain 4% market share based on benchmark companies. Market is huge, one way. Pure fluff, meaningless, nothing. Very precise information that you're giving. Also think of this, so even with McGuire graduates, I'm getting business plans and ideas and so on and so forth. What I want to see, please keep this in the back of your mind all the time. What I want to see, I want you to imagine this. I want you to give me an onion, the whole onion, and I will ask you to remove the layers of the onion as I please. So give me the condensed information first, and then I'll say, for example, prove to me, how did you find out that the total available market is 500 million? how are you going to, what are you basing your 4% market share on? So those are the layers of the onion. I don't want the whole thing thrown at me. I want the structure to the way that you're presenting to us. What's a first-class business plan? Detailed, particularly for the very near term. So what we will want to see is something along the following lines. Task. Dollar needed. Time to accomplish. And deliverable. So, I need 2,000, I will bring users to my website. Bring users to website, for example. I need $2,500. I will bring 250 users to our website and they will sign up at my website. That's my task. I'm going to need $2,500 to accomplish this, and it will take me 30 days to accomplish it. And then at the tail end of it, I'll be able to show you 250 new users at my site. Of course, this will be written in more professional language, but so the sum total of this is going to be the amount of dollars that I need to launch this company. Yeah, Luis.
It jumped to me because you're speaking about websites, but it's very important that when you are showing deliverables, you use the metrics the industry uses. So you would say, for example, on this one, I need $2,500 to bring X amount of users at a cost of customer acquisition of this, and my cost per click will be that, they will spend that many minutes in my website, and you have to tailor that for the particular industry you're working in.
Exactly. So, for example, what's the implicit assumption here as to how much is it going to cost you to bring one new user to your website? $10, right? Yeah. So now my question to you is going to be layers of the onion. How did you come up with the $10? Either you came up with it through benchmark companies because it cost X company who at this stage of the game, it cost them this much also. Or I already ran some, I got a Hearst grant, or I used sweat equity to generate some customers that would have cost me $100 to create 10 customers already. So I can show you some data for you to believe, right? So, capital efficiency. I think in the first class too, I told you, your task here, your mission at McGuire now is to demonstrate to people how much progress, how much mileage you were able to get on sweat equity alone. Your time is your currency now. I'm assuming you don't have that much cash. The only currency you have is your time and your brain. So you're going to apply your brain and your time and show us how much you were able to achieve. That's capital efficiency, right? And stretching every penny as much as it's going to stretch is evidence to us that if we trust you with our money, you will be able to use it just as effectively post-McGuire. I'll get into a lot of details about this later on, because this is also to your benefit, because you don't want to be diluted, which means that you don't want to give away 70% of your company for outside money. You want to give away 5% of your company. And the way to achieve this is through capital efficiency. I don't expect, everything to make 100 perfect sense here, because if it did, then we would just have one class and, we'd be done with the McGuire program. So we'll stretch these out and discuss them again with the onion philosophy. Okay, so drop Facebook for 2 seconds, those of you who are on Facebook, and listen to this, because this will make, this has the potential to make a lot of difference in your life. Without any question, you're going to be generating reports for your superiors if you join companies, if you apply for grants, if you propose a new project at a company, you'll be writing some kind of report, right? Here is what has worked for me tremendously. I generated something in the neighborhood of $5 million of grant money into my companies. And this was the only trick that I applied. I shouldn't say the only trick, beyond the training and so on and so forth and the knowledge base, etc. This was the only special item, which is anticipating, I hope you understand this and you appreciate this, please. So, anticipating what the reader is thinking at this particular sentence that they're now reading, and what questions are coming up in the reader's mind, and now I'll go ahead and preemptively answer those questions in the next sentence. So, for example, let's see. We are graduates of the McGuire program working on a medical device company. So the skeptical reviewer of the business plan or the grant application is saying, boy, a medical device company, that's tough. How are they going to pull this off? So the next sentence is, we have surrounded ourselves with experts in medicine, in science, in physics, in business. So now we have satisfied the question that we knew was in the back of his mind. Sentence by sentence, word by word, we're preemptively answering every question that he can ask. And therefore, we're giving him no chance but to give us the grant or invest in our company. That's the ideal goal, right? We preemptively answer every question. So our job now is to make you bulletproof. So we'll keep shooting at you constantly throughout the entire year, particularly Randy, and until you become bulletproof. So that's the goal. Hard to reach, but doable, as you'll see examples of. So I did say that if you set this as the goal, then the rest will flow through. So we'll go ahead and jump in to the real thing, okay? So I'll give you some specifics about some of these steps that you're going to go through. So this is the competition that I told you about, probably around March
28th.
March 28th, ASU, NAU, U of A. I'm fairly sure that the winner gets 7,000, 2 runners-up get 5,000, and 2 runners-up get 3,000, something along those lines. Not bad, but not for you to go out and buy yourselves a car. Money for you to build the business, right? So this will be one threshold for you to see how good you really are. Another one, I'll post this so you don't have to worry about trying to copy it down and stuff. So there is an infinite number of business plan competitions across the country. All kinds of business plan competitions, graduate student business plan, open to undergrads in California, North Carolina, wherever. So we're going to propose to you some business plan competitions that you may want to go to, and each one has an award associated with it if that's what turns you on. Here is the Arizona Innovation Challenge. Now this is a long class, so I'm going to get into some detail about each of them just from the point of view of what are the expectations. So this is where you apply for the Arizona Innovation Challenge. They give away $1.5 million, I think, each year. $250,000 chunks. And there is no doubt in my mind, if you pick a great venture concept and completely commit to it, you have a fairly good chance of winning these types of grants. But it's again, this being a university, the main objective is for you to see how good you really are, and the only way we know how to do that is by the judgment of other people, and if they want to throw some money at you because you're so good, why not? This is the next step of the game, where you will submit, if you wish, in fact, even if you don't wish, you're going to submit an application to the Desert Angels, which is the angel investment group in Tucson. And even if you're not going to launch, we ask you as a part of the program to submit an official application to the Desert Angels, and my colleagues will look at them all and then talk to you and critique it, and what would it take for them to invest in such a venture, etc. So that will be another, yet another acid test that we're going to put you in. So, I told you that, I'm sick of hearing, well, U of A is not Stanford University and Tucson is not Silicon Valley, because those are just excuses, right? We need to, okay, fine, I know U of A is not Stanford, it's spelled differently, right? But what can we do now, today, to encourage student launches, support student launches, because I like living in Tucson. I want Tucson to become a better place. I want lots of successful students to come out, so let's go ahead and do something like these guys are doing, given our limitations of capital and whatever other limitations Tucson has. So I have a lot to say about this too. In essence, what I'm trying to do is to, and this is an uphill battle, it's quite difficult, trying to form a fund, an investment fund, specific to McGuire launches. So a dedicated fund just for McGuire launches. Only for the cream of the teams, but at least, we should give a chance to students who go through the McGuire program and want to launch their program. So I'm working very hard actually at getting that fund. I have my own fund with a couple colleagues of mine, but it's not a large enough fund, so we want to increase the size of that fund. So, let's see. Let's start looking at some documents. Any questions or comments? Feel free.